During my first masters, I used to wake up at 7 a.m. like a zombie, rush to go to university, go to study the whole day, come back, spend some time with friends, eat, sleep, and repeat. I wasn't learning much, I was struggling to learn new things, and I didn't even have a job at the time. However, 2 years ago, I came to the UK to study a computer science degree while working part-time in a hotel and doing data science freelancing on the side. All these while having a social life, traveling around the UK, still practicing tennis, football, and the gym, and still making sure that I can learn new things along the way. So what changed? This is what I'm going to answer in this video, so keep watching. There are 5 main elements that made me go from someone that could learn anything into someone that learns continuously while having a full-time job. The first one is understanding my energy cycles. Before, I used to think that I could be productive in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Sometimes I used to put the biggest task of the day after work or in the evening, thinking that I can still have the same focus that I had in the morning. But this is not true. There is something that I learned which is quite basic and quite straightforward, but it makes so much sense, is the energy levels throughout the day. So when you wake up, usually half an hour or an hour after you wake up, your energy is at its peak, and then it starts going down and down over the day. At some point in the afternoon, in the early afternoon, you can have another raise of energy and then it goes down again. So when I understood these things, I started to put my biggest work, the most demanding things, in the morning, and the second most demanding in early afternoon, and all the rest can go a little bit randomly, because I like to have a little bit of randomness in my schedule. I am 100% into scheduling. I use Google Calendar, everything is in there. But apart from the main work, those that go usually early in the morning and in the early afternoon, the rest can be interchangeable. So I don't have to put much pressure on myself like a robot. I need to do this task and this task and another one. No, keep it a little bit free. I am still very surprised to see many of my friends not even using a scheduler or a calendar. They just go through the day, they have a full-time job, they know they do a 9 to 5, then go whatever in the evening and repeat. But if you have high ambitions, you have a project that you want to build on the side, you have some skills that you want to develop, obviously you'll need a better approach and you need to schedule your time accordingly. Because even though you think you could do everything, just go in by life and you'll manage to succeed, yes you could, but you'd rather do it the right way. Next, you have Parkinson's law. And Parkinson's law is very simple. It basically says that we tend to fill in the time we allocate for a specific task. For example, if I give you a mission to accomplish by Tuesday, you'll be like, okay, I got maybe 5 days left, so I can stretch my time to achieve that task in 5 days. But if I tell you, you have this task that you need to finish by the end of the day, I put a deadline into that task, and it will force you to do what you could have done in 5 days, but in just a few hours. And this is why the Parkinson's law is very powerful, because when you put a deadline, even if there is no reason to put a deadline, but when you put one, it makes you learn faster. And it's even more enjoyable because there's a little bit of accountability, there's a little bit of a challenge. And if you manage to gamify and make your learning experience even more interesting, even more intriguing, even more challenging, it makes the whole process more enjoyable. Because when you end up learning what you plan to learn, you feel happier about it. If you're enjoying this video so far, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. 67% of my watchers are not subscribed to my channel, so if you're one of them, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything and it does help the channel massively. Thank you for doing it. Next is build passion for your goals. It may sound very cheesy, but if you're not passionate about the things that you want to learn, or you don't have any interest in them, it will be very difficult to learn. So along the way, when you're learning, try to use different mediums of learning. Try to use podcasts, videos, courses, books, just sitting on paper and pen and writing down things. This way, you can have a better vision, a global vision of what you're learning. And over time, while you're making progress, you will start building this passion for the topic. For example, if you learn a language, at the beginning it's really tough. But when you put in a few sessions and you start to learn a few words, a few sentences, you start to understand what your friend said or what you saw on a film, and like, oh, this is more interesting now, and deep down, even if you don't realize, there's this passion that is created with your goal and that is making it more and more interesting for you to keep digging into it. The issue that many people encounter is that they don't go through that phase of struggle, because it's usually 2, 3, 6 months of you go slowly and slowly and slowly. But with the compound effect, at some point you know that it's going to pick up. You just need to be patient. You need to keep putting on the reps, and you need to make sure that you're building a passion for what you're learning. That's the only way you can keep it up for years and years. Next is happiness over purpose. And this is a big one for me. I am big on personal development. I am big on productivity, mindset, learning all the time. I feel like if I'm not learning 1 or 2 days, there is something wrong with me. And even though this helps me improve as a person and learn so many cool stuff, but I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I'm trying to remind myself to be happy, to be grateful, to be self-content, and not just think of always more and more and more. Even though there is no harm into learning all the time and doing a lot of things all the time and learning, but I try to remember that I need to be happy first. And if I am pursuing a goal that doesn't make me happy, I just find a way to completely eliminate it. Because life is quite short if you think about it. You don't want to spend your time doing things that you hate. You're not building a passion for them, and you will still do them for 10, 15, 20 years. What's the point? If you're not happy, then it's not even worth pursuing that goal. Change your goal, change your aim, and pursue things that will make you happy. Always remember that happiness comes first. There's no goal that goes above your happiness. Quick question. Are you enjoying the learning process, or are you too stressed about trying to learn new things all the time? Because that's something that happened to me, and it's something that used to take so much of my mental energy that I ended up just procrastinating, just sitting around and not doing anything, and while feeling bad about it. That's even the worst. So please share with me in the comment section your feelings about it. Next and last point is master rescheduling. So it's easy to schedule. It's easy to go through the calendar, put a bunch of blocks in here and there. Okay, I'm going to learn French, I'm going to do football, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to learn this skill, I'm going to call my dad, I'm going to meet my girlfriend, all these things. It's really cool. Because when you schedule, you have this dopamine rush in you that gives you that superpower that you can do everything. But then you quickly see throughout the day that you cannot do everything, or that things just pop up in your calendar, or that you underestimated the time it will take you to learn something. So instead of feeling bad about it, because this is life, you should learn and master rescheduling. So what I do is that I usually have 2 to 3 tasks that are very important in my day. They usually go early in the morning, maybe from 8 to 10, 11 a.m. Then early afternoon, maybe from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And these usually, I know my energy levels are high, as we've talked about previously, so I know I'm going to do them, except if there is something that really takes me away from home and I need to physically be doing something else. But usually these things are 95, 99% of the time I do them. Then all the rest, there is a way for me to reschedule them. For example, I plan the gym in the afternoon and then somehow I have something else to do. There is no harm. I will reschedule it for tomorrow or for another day, but I will still make sure that I do it, especially if I have important goals towards them. Because for the gym, for example, I have a goal to go 3 times a week and I want to keep that. For example, I'm learning a new skill, I'm practicing and learning for a new certification. I have a goal to achieve that certification within 3 weeks. I'm putting myself a deadline. So keeping the important and critical tasks in the morning and early afternoon for me is the best way to not miss them. And the rest, there is always a way to move them around. Because, as we said, we want to stay happy. So if a friend calls me and says, hey Anas, you want to go for a drink? I'm like, you know what? Yes, let's go for a drink. Even though I had something scheduled go into Coursera, learn a new course. But no, I still have a social life. I still want to go and play tennis. I still want to meet friends. I still want to go out with my girlfriend without thinking that I'm not making progress or feeling bad about it. Because the goal is to be happy while still achieving your goals and keep learning as much as you can. So that's it. These are all my tips from being someone that used to go to uni without a job, always procrastinating, never learning, into someone that went to university, had a part-time job in a hotel, was doing freelancing as a data scientist, and ultimately having a full-time job and still learning. I think I learn more today with a full-time job than I used to learn when I had much time in university. So these are the things that I use in order to improve my routine and in order to improve my results overall. I hope they were valuable to you. Let me know in the comment sections which are the ones that stood out the most for you, and we can have a chat about it. And again, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It does help me grow on YouTube and I really appreciate the effort. See you on the next one.